Hey guys, Joel here with Everyday Ready. Today we're going to talk about building a get-home bag for your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other, whoever is out and about in their own vehicle and might need to ditch said vehicle for a maximum of 24 hours out and about traveling on foot from wherever they are to their home or their safe place. I hate to say safe space because I'm not about safe spaces up and around in here, but their safe place, their cache location out in the woods or getting all the way home, whatever it may be. Your situation will vary depending on who it is, if there's kids in tow. Now I have 4 kids, so I will be giving some tips on doing this with kids and various things to put into these get home bags, because those are different. Bug out bag is completely different than a get home bag. We're going to be focusing on a get home bag with all the essentials to get you from point A to point B as quickly as possible, with some food, some shelter, some fire, some water, the essentials, those sorts of things. So let's get into the video. Alright, I'm back. And obviously looking a little bit different. Started shooting that video the other night and then couldn't finish it, had to come back today, so a little slightly different look on the video. Normally I try to be really consistent with what I'm wearing and how it looks, but yada yada, I digress. Let's get into the pack, because I know you want to see each of these things, and some of them will require some explanation. So I will spend a little bit more time on those things, and some, like matches that are obvious and what they're for, I'm just going to kind of skip over. So the entire pack that I use for my wife in her car for her get home bag is from REI, and this is no longer in production, unfortunately. It is approximately 22 inches long and about 12 inches wide and about 8 to 10 inches deep. So compass, obvious, map and compass, good to have for direction finding. Headlamp, you could go with a handheld light or something like that. I find headlamps are a little bit nicer because you can be working and hands-free and all that kind of stuff. We've got a multi-tool, just a standard Leatherman multi-tool, and we've got a radio. Now this is a Baofeng UV5R. These are ham capable. If you're ham certified, you can then you can tie into the repeaters around the area and get a lot further distance. As it stands, I am not ham certified currently, and so you kind of are limited to the 4 or 5 watts of power on the FRS, Family Radio Service channels, or the GMRS, which has a little bit more power rating to it. So you might be able to get a mile with these. Now I have tested these in my area. I live in a fairly flat area, and I can get 2.5 to 3 miles just radio to radio. If you tie into the repeaters, you can go 20, 30 miles, something like that in this area. So that's a really handy thing to have. So getting into the main part of the pack here, water bottle and a water filter purifier. So basically, it's got a hose, you put it in water, and basically as you draw water through it, it purifies the water from streams, ponds, those sorts of things. So my thinking on this for my wife in general, we have 4 kids, and so again, this needs to be prefaced that, like, this isn't going to be a nice little hike, like a nice little outing, right? This is going to suck for 24 hours or however long it takes you to get to a safe space or to get home. And the kids need to realize that. Now, tiny little ones, you're going to have to come up with your own plan. Mine are 3 of them now are teenagers, and 1 is 10 years old, and so mine can hike a good distance and can chip in and help and do those sorts of things. You're going to have to find a water source. It can be city water sources, like you can go into a park and find faucets and those kinds of things. That's all clean water. But if you have to filter out of lakes or streams, you're going to want a filter. So good thing to have. And then in this little baggie, I've got notebook, pen, and radio procedure. So I'll go into the radio procedure in a completely different video. Just suffice it to say, My wife has a radio, I have a radio. When it comes time to get home or get picked up or in a dangerous situation, we have a set of instructions that we follow for when the radio gets turned on, how long it's on, when it gets turned off, how we communicate. So that's in here along with a notebook and a pen. Toilet paper, and I put it in a shrink wrap thing just so that it can fit in here a little bit better. All right, so in this pot, of course, is things for cooking. So I've got a little ditty bag here that's got the Esbit stove and tabs in it for heating up water. Because the food items that I have, again, it's not going to be fun out and about for 24 hours. It's survival, right? So I've got one meal, one freeze-dried meal for each kid and my wife in the pack. And they could all share each of them and have little meals as they go, or they could just eat one big meal in the middle of the timeout. I'm not sure how they would do it, but they would survive, right? They wouldn't be happy. My kids wouldn't be happy. I know your kids probably wouldn't either. This is like a survival bivvy sack. The only reason that I have only one is because maybe somebody gets too wet, starts to become hypothermic. You need to strip them down and get them warm in a hurry. So that's why I have one. Maybe you have to put an extra layer like this on one person while you're out and about. 3 different water bladders here that can be filtered and filled and stored as you're hiking so that people can drink. I like these because they're super lightweight and they're very flat until you actually need them. I've got a minimal first aid kit. This is not a trauma kit in any way. The thought is they're not going to be taking gunfire, so they don't need some of those types of trauma items. We're talking about bumps, bruises, small cuts, sprains, headache, that kind of thing. So basic first aid kit, boo-boo kit we might call it. Small survival pouch that's got some things like signal mirror and a little fishing kit in it and a small pocket knife. So we've got that there. Paracord, 550 cord, excellent for helping to set up shelters and just whatever else you might need. Matches. Right here is a little survival kit from a company called Imminent Threat Solutions. Again, just kind of doubles up on some of this stuff, but there's some escape and evasion type tools in here that might help you get out of restraints or something like that. Now, it's just kind of fun to have. Obviously, if bad guys take you hostage and they handcuff you, they're probably going to take your gear as well. So it's kind of just a feel-good item, I guess, but this company is great, Imminent Threat Solutions, and they make awesome little products. This is the freeze-dried food. Again, it's just camping freeze-dried food that can be, you just add hot water to it, mix it up, let it sit for a minute, and then you can eat it. So this is our shelter. Now this is different than what a lot of people might do. A lot of people might do little individual tents or bivvies like these. I could do 5 or 6 of these little bivvies and call that our shelter. I chose a Bothy bag, B-O-T-H-Y, Bothy bag. Basically think of it like a giant breathable garbage bag that goes over the entire group of people. You sit down on your butt on the ground and everybody leans back into the bag and you support each other in a circle. It becomes kind of like this little igloo that really traps heat well. Body heat will really warm you up even in the dead of winter. And it's breathable, so a lot of that moisture goes to the top and evaporates out. And of course, if you need a little fresh air or need it cooled down, you just kind of lift a side up and more fresh air comes rushing in. I've got maps here. These are maps from common locations that my family goes to other people's houses, safe sites, or locations that it can be like rendezvous locations between my family and me, just areas that we have agreed on that they could go and sit and wait until I have an opportunity to come pick them up. When it comes to little kids, if you have little ones in tow, you need to plan out where everybody's houses are at. All your friends, people from church, whatever it is, you need to talk to them about this and plan out places around town that you can quickly get to from all the major areas, whether it's a shopping mall or church or the kids' school or whatever it might be, and then map it out, draw it out, and then go drive it, walk it, hike it if you want at night, just to see how long things take and just have a plan. So that's really important. Again, shrink wrapped. This is all very cheap poncho kind of rain gear. There's one for my wife and each of my kids in here. This can add warmth. It can obviously, suffice as a shelter if it needs to. One-use kind of deals. And then I have some cash and some silver coins, like real silver, in here in case they need to purchase anything or bribe anyone, or I mean, guys, we live in a dangerous world and my mind runs wild sometimes. So take some of this with a grain of salt or take it all as gospel. I don't care which. It's just a good thing to have, and hopefully you learned something from this or got something useful out of it. I sure appreciate you watching. Smash that subscribe button for me. Maybe stick around and watch some more videos while you're here. Every day ready for the adventures we choose and the emergencies we don't.